Okay, we're back. All right, I think she's logging in now, so she will be joining us live as well. I'll do a quick intro again because I know we saved this for the replay for some of the viewers for later. This is Wednesday Wisdom Women. We come on either 12 or 1 o'clock every Wednesday, and we talk with guests about women's empowerment, who our role models were in life, what we find to be the traits of a woman that is empowered in this world. Like I said, I am definitely under the weather, recovering from a little bit of a cold. So I have cough drops ready, tea ready, and my guest, I think, is also actually a little bit under the weather. Oh, there she is. There's Jackie coming in. View request. And it's connecting now. Hold on one sec.
Did I make it?
You did. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, you look very good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the shroud of illness in my house.
Well, if we're going to be honest, underneath this is my sweatpants. So,
Yeah, leggings here. I mean,
yeah,
I'm floating with it here. Oh, I'm so happy to see you though.
I'm
How are
glad
you
it worked
doing?
out.
I said I have my cough drops ready. I have my tea ready because I do not want to go into a coughing fit. Oh my gosh, girl. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right here.
Oh, and I hate when this does that, when I do a thumb up or something. And
I know, and then
anyway,
it like does it for you. Yeah.
I have to figure this out. But anyway, we're here, Wednesday Wisdom Women.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming. I did a little intro already, kind of talking about what we do. Oh my gosh, that's right. Happy birthday, Jackie, today.
Yep.
I
Thank
was,
you.
Thank you for coming on your birthday. Like, that's really, really
Yeah.
nice. And I think this is a beautiful way to celebrate you anyway. So I'm starting my cough drop. Yay, happy birthday.
I know, the big 4-0.
Oh my gosh, you're in the club.
I'm in the club. I'm officially in the club.
You're amongst friends.
Yeah.
I
That's
find
why
this
we're wise women, because we're in our 40s finally.
we have the name badge, like it's
Yeah.
official. We are wise now.
Yeah,
But I know
exactly.
my 50-year-old women are probably like, yeah, wait.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in my crone era.
I love it. Wear it with pride.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Okay, well, let's introduce you a little bit. I was thinking about back to how we met, and I know that it was about 4 years ago. We were in a coaching course together, and you and I were like partnered up, I think,
Yeah.
and you're like, so I was so nervous, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna. They like threw us right into it, like trying to do some coaching together. And then I've watched your work over the years as you've developed into this. I mean, you were already working into the work you were doing. But it's just been really fun to get to know you better, and obviously I've gotten some astrology done from you, and
Yep.
I've watched the work you do in your really cool spa that you have. So why don't you just tell us a little more about like stuff you do, where you're located too, and stuff that you're getting into.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, gosh, 4 years ago, that was crazy. That was during the pandemic,
Mhm.
and I was pregnant with my first child,
Mhm.
and oh my gosh, stuff was definitely crazy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, things have really improved since the pandemic. Um, I'm in Austin, Texas, and
Mhm.
as you said, I do own a spiritual spa, which is a really cool experience for me because I'm basically um, connecting all the little intricacies of things that I personally am into, and I call it a business. And I'm like, by the
Mhm.
way, this is my business now. It's just like kind of like the childhood dream, like do whatever the fuck you want with your life
Mhm.
and get
Mhm.
paid to do it. It is very fulfilling. So yeah, that's my brick and mortar here in Austin, where of course it's a spa. So it's a skin spa. So it's
Mhm.
all skincare. And then we perform energy work
Mhm.
and shamanic energy clearing and crystal healing, things like that. But then, as you also said, I'm an astrologer and I read tarot. And so I do that virtually as well. But a lot of clients, I do that for them, even in the treatment room. So I'll be doing a facial and pulling cards and really getting a feel for what's going on energetically in their body as I'm doing the Reiki
Mhm.
versus the things they're telling me versus what their skin's telling me. And then I'm like, you know what, cards, we need some more, divine insight here. So I'll pull some cards. And then even though I did not continue with you through the coaching
Hmm.
course, I did join another and became a coach, but I'm very specifically focused on shadow work,
Mm.
which definitely feels more in alignment with, well, my own personal lived experiences, um, my own personal, I guess, interests. Like I love, I mean, hello, it's my birthday, it's Halloween. Like I'm
Yeah.
definitely the darker girl. So it definitely kind of fit the vibe more. And I mean, it's really been such an incredible experience to take women through. I feel like the term hinders people. I mean, I've literally had, if you go to my website, it says meet the witch, right?
Hmm.
I'm like a self-proclaimed witch. And I had a woman contact me. She wanted to work with me. She was very interested, but she was scared because of the term witch
Hmm.
and shadow work. And she was scared that I was going to bring dark entities into her.
Right.
And so it is interesting, the terminology. So I'm going to debunk it
Hmm.
here because it's
Hmm.
technically a psychology term
Yeah.
coined by a spiritual psychologist who we've all heard of, Carl Jung, back
Hmm.
with, he was Freud's protege, and then kind
Hmm.
of like distanced himself from crazy Freud and went into his own realm. He also was very into astrology, so he's my homeboy. But
Nice.
basically, it's, in my opinion, my professional opinion, my personal life experience, it's the path to liberation. And I am a die-hard feminist, die-hard. So I'm like, let's liberate the divine feminine, F the patriarchy. That's where we're at. Yes,
Oh, I love
exactly.
it.
Get black cat vibes.
Oh,
Catwoman was my favorite, by the way, in the Batman with Michael Keaton and
Michelle
Michelle
Pfeiffer,
Pfeiffer. Yeah, so that was the role model.
the queen, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that's so beautiful you say that about the shadow work too, because I find that, hmm, bringing dark entities in, no, they're in there already.
Right.
Like,
That's
those are the
interesting, right?
things that I feel like when I hear you on TikTok and here and stuff is like, it's really about alchemizing those a bit and getting some space from that, or just maybe, I don't know, like just learning what it is, learning what that side of us that's needing attention in some way. And I 100% I love that, because I think a lot of people think life coaching or any kind of mentoring is like love and light and let's be
Yeah.
positive and all that. It's like, no, it's actually a dive. It's you got to be brave enough to sort of like be ready to take a look at some of those little boogeymen that we think are boogeymen, but really just like these, like you said, these shades of ourselves, these things that are just looking for some attention or, to be.
Things that you're scared of, I think something that's important to know with the shadows is that it might be things that you're scared of and they're good things. That's called a golden shadow. So I'll never forget my very, very first shadow work session for me.
Hmm.
And I had niceness in my shadow. And by all intents and purposes, why would someone not want to be nice? Why is that something that's not in my body? Why do I repress that? And that's why it's really important to have this holistic view of this idea that it's not necessarily the bad parts of you. It's basically, we are a human. We have the totality of human experiences possible. Well, we're a soul having a human experiences, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so the soul is coming here to learn a lesson. And so we need to embrace the totality of our experience as a human being. So if you feel jealousy, and that's quote unquote bad, don't push it away. Let it be there. It's data. What is it telling me? Why do I not want to be nice? Well, I have a connotation of being nice as being weak.
Right.
And I
A
have,
target.
you know,
Right. Vulnerable.
right. So it's really, really nuanced what shadow work actually is, and it's per person. And P.S., you can have both nice and mean in your shadow. It's
Hmm.
really, really interesting. And the work is more about, as you said with coaching too, bringing you into a sense of authenticity and being centered in who you are
Hmm.
in totality, which actually brings you more quote unquote control, which we all women love to have
Hmm.
nowadays. Like it's actually bringing you more control over self,
Mm.
more agency, sovereignty of who I am and what I'm here to do. Um, and that's why it's liberating.
Girl, yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it so much. And then I know I mentioned in the text, like, usually we start the session with some kind of mindfulness or somebody did tapping. We had an EFT guest. Did you have, or first of all, are you in the mood to do that? Are we all feeling okay for that? Or how are you feeling?
I'm going to be super honest with you. I may be over here owning a spiritual spa, being all woo woo, and I do not do that.
Okay.
I'm like, let's just jump right into the deep end,
All
Kate.
right. Let's do it.
If
I love
you
that.
feel like leading us, I will participate, but I don't do
No,
it.
honestly, I think it's like, oh, well, isn't that lovely? Because we could really listen to ourselves and say, like, if we're both kind of not feeling great, it's kind of, it's a little bit harder to sit. I'm going to turn this light off of my face that keeps glowing on there too. That we can just go with the flow and see what we want. So let's jump into the questions then.
Jump.
Okay. Number one question. Who are, would you say, the women in your life that were either empowerment role models that were, and they could be famous, they could be family, they could be somebody you sort of knew. And what I love to tell my guests or offer my guests is like, it could be either or. Like, it could be the opposite of what you knew you would never be like, and that empowered you to embrace your authentic realness. But
Oh,
let's hear a few.
oh my God, that's interesting. Okay. Um, oh, female role models.
How did you get into what you're getting into? Was it something, did you have anybody that sort of showed you the way or?
No, it's me. Um, literally, I think I've always been me, and I've had to just work hard to get away from what a lot of people try to dumb down my
Hmm.
bigness.
Hmm.
But I think I was born big. I mean, that sounds a little conceited. It's not. It's more just like I've been a big personality since I came out the womb, and I don't know. My mom is a fairly big personality, so she's never been shy with her words or anything like that. But someone. Okay, so yeah, I definitely had a rebellious kind of spirit. Like I didn't do bad things per se, but I'm like, if anyone tries to tell me what to do, no, 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 no. You don't tell me what to do, kind of a thing. So whenever I saw kind of rebellious women, I was inspired by that. And this one actually is interesting because I was a little older, but it was Sinead O'Connor. And she shaved her head. I mean, I still have long hair. Women have long hair. Women are demure. Women cross their legs.
Hmm.
She's like shaving her head, effing the man, coming out blatantly about very uh, sensitive topics
Sure.
in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's what's up.
Mm.
That's what I want to be. Like, don't be afraid to say what your experience was, what it feels like to be you, because it happens to everyone else too. Like it's happening to so many other people. The more that we're quiet, the more we feel isolated, and that you feel isolated, you feel isolated. When we share, we connect. And I feel like she was a role model for me in that, if we're talking about women role models, for sure.
Yeah. I had never thought about that. For me, it was like watching her, I was just like, oh. And then for me, I'm already like, I love her boots. Like, I'm just wanting to get her
Well, yeah,
boots.
that too. Just like her fashion. I
Her
mean,
fashion was awesome.
yes. She was just definitely, and I'm Irish. She was Irish. I
Yeah.
just kind of feel like this little kidship. When she passed, I actually had a really emotional experience,
Mm.
more than I kind of realized. And I felt this almost like lineage connection. And I was
Mm.
just thinking about, this concept of women from generation to generation to generation. I can track my ancestors from Ireland to the States. And I'm not related to Sinead O'Connor per se, but it's just like this concept of like, what did a people go through? A
Mm.
people, all the famine there, the Catholic craziness that has gone through Ireland, a lot of child sexual abuse
Yeah.
and alcoholism. I mean, like it's a people that are what's the word I'm looking for? Oppressed, taken down.
Right.
And I'm like super
And what that
humanitarian.
creates and what kind of
Exactly.
women that creates.
And then the concept that a bunch of Irish people came to the States and like started working on the railroads, and then we have like this feeling of being liberated from our country, or people from England, anywhere. And so now we have like this American version of it, and it's like this idea of like, I can do whatever I want now. I have a freedom. Like, America was founded on liberation. I'm really, really into this whole like liberation thing
Mm.
right now, by the way. And the current political climate is really just firing me right up. And I
I
love
love the timing
that
of
we
our
have a
talk today.
female. What?
I love the timing of our
I
talk
know.
today too, as well.
I know.
And Scorpio season, right? Like it's all.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I
And
hear that.
so,
I hear the thread of what you're saying around. Um, gosh, I mean, every culture and every society has probably had to leave their home or overcome adversity. I mean, even when they came to the States, a lot of the European groups were
yep,
discriminated against, and like like that was hard and rough, and bringing all that trauma kind of with them, and on top of that, like it's oh gosh,
yep.
what is an empire, especially the women in those times that as a woman, like in any culture, probably earthwide, at any point, you weren't given a lot of liberties. You weren't given a lot of empowerment options.
I
Um,
mean, in the United States, arguably one of the wealthiest countries in the entire world,
mhm.
women couldn't even get a credit card until the 70s. Like, what?
I think they
I
couldn't,
have
and they couldn't get a loan on their
without a
own
man.
name till the 80s or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
I
Shocking.
think it's like 89 actually, which is after I was born. So it's like, we think that these things are so far removed from our reality. They are not. They are
Mhm.
deeply ingrained. Our parents were not able to get loans or do anything without their husband. It's like we've had a leash on us. And so I don't
Mhm.
know. I love when I see a woman who's just completely liberated. She's being exactly who she is. She's speaking out
Mhm.
against injustice. She's speaking out about her truth. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with my truth. It's mine. And like, I think that's why I resonate so much with Sinead.
Mhm.
But you see it, and how much, and all the women who have had to raise children, and in a society where they were so limited. I mean, I have a daughter now, which is, of course, part of my concern with the current political climate. And I'm
Mhm.
just kind of like so grateful to be able to raise my children with with a mother who is continually working to be liberated. And so I
Mhm.
can teach them, girl, go off, say whatever you want to say, tell it to me. Like, I want to hear it. You cannot upset me. And
Right.
it's like, I don't want to teach my stepdaughter. She told me the other day that her mom tells her, sit like a lady. Girls don't sit like that. And
Mm.
I'm just like, babe, it's just it's still happening. 2024. We're still telling girls to sit like a lady. What is that? It's like 1950s.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. And it's like, you think about how in a lot we talk about like I don't know why I'm still thinking about like the Irish coming, like that generational trauma, and how a lot of the mothers and women thought they were protecting their
Yeah,
daughters, right? They thought like this is the way to survive. This is
right.
the way to, and I think that like how disempowering that was over time, we didn't know it, like it's like survival versus now we do have that space to thrive a little more and to communicate and to kind of gather together and share. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Like that's one woman alone, that was dangerous, to
Right.
even to step out in that way. And like your Sinead O'Connor example, it's like the next question I usually ask is about like, well, what are the traits that you see in an empowered woman? But you're already like having a voice, being liberated, like you said, and ownership of your truth. Like this stuff is dangerous. This is illegal, Jackie. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
allowed.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you saw, but in Afghanistan, the bill was the I'm not sure what they call him, like president, minister, whoever, just passed a law that women cannot speak around other women, meaning a woman cannot hear a grown woman's voice.
Mm.
So if you are praying, you need to whisper, as another grown woman can't hear you speak. So we're literally in 2024 in certain countries taking away the power for women to communicate with each other. We're isolating women. This is real and it's happening
Mm.
today. And
Because
so
that's the control, right? And
it's
like
control.
it makes sense. Like it's a powerful thing to keep us from like sharing each other's power with each other, which is
Right.
why I
Because
love
it's
these interviews.
empowered.
Like
Exactly.
share it, like talk about it, women's circles, you know.
Yep.
Um I mean, well, let me ask you. I don't this is like off topic, but it's like popping into my head. So what do you think, or do you have any thoughts kind of on the witch trials and like
I was
how
just going to talk about this.
no. Okay, good.
Swear. You're probably hearing it in my voice or in my head, because in my head, the thing I want to keep saying over and over again, but we weren't talking about witches, is first of all, I definitely would have been burned at the stake at 16,
Oh, me too.
I could
Gone.
too. But I bought a shirt because of, who I am. I'm like, let's wear it, let's be proud. And it's like, they didn't burn witches, they burned women.
Yeah.
Woman,
Yeah.
a female was tied with a rope in the
Mm-hmm.
town square. Literally, her flesh set on fire while everyone watched and cheered and threw stones at her. And her daughter might have been there, right there with her, or watching. Like, that's fucking disgusting to me. They're
Right.
human beings. And so the concept that what we know as, I work a lot with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So divine feminine energy is wild and creative, and it literally makes life. It's intuitive, it's emotional, it's sensitive. That's why we rear the babies traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also going to burn me for having to be in touch with burn me alive, right? Like, what a death,
That
by the way. Okay, like, that's
sucks.
disgusting.
No.
Because I'm in touch with my literal genetic makeup and my divine feminine. Do you not, like, how can you expect women to be mothers and not be intuitive? Like, the mother child bond is insanely intuitive.
Mm.
So it's so contradictory, and it's just a means to control women. And
Well, I
so
think
I'm
this
like,
is what they talk about sometimes, and you've probably heard of it, like the witch wound, and how some
oh,
people,
absolutely.
how we have a lot to overcome to keep, if, like we had the feminist era, and you still see where women struggle so much and like feeling safe to become authentic or to do live a non-traditional life in some way, or just be in touch with nature and like getting in my health remedies from herbs and natural ways. Like it's like that could put you to death, and historically this is not just a wooey like hippie type of thing.
No.
So what do you feel about that? Do you feel like there's like we get a, I don't know, like an alarm in us sometimes if we start kind of living in the fringe a little bit with what cultural exceptions are?
1,000%. And this is pretty much my, I hate using the word niche, but pretty much the niche, right?
Mm,
So many women that I work with have a quote unquote witch wound,
mm,
which will just remove the word and say they don't trust their own intuition.
mhm.
They don't trust themselves, but they feel connected to it, like they know it's there. Or I'll have women, even, like, that's from my coaching program, but even women who come into the spa who want to get a facial, and I'm like, okay, this is, we would normally be doing some energy work at this point. Are you open to that? Some people are like, well, what does that mean? And then they're like, that makes me a little nervous. And you have to talk it out. Like, what makes you nervous about receiving this? Well, I don't know what it's going to do to me. And I'm like, we have to decondition that
Right.
there's stigmas around things that have been going on for the entirety of the human population.
Right.
Entirety.
Mm,
And if you're, I mean, even as closely related as Native Americans, who, by the way, were already here when we founded this country, who are, like, it's another version of religion. And I think that's the part that is getting messed up, is that religion is just the it's an organization built on
right.
spirituality.
Right.
Spirituality has always existed. When we
Mhm.
start telling people what's wrong or right about spirituality, we've already fucked up. And so I'm
Mhm.
just here to kind of basically open that door and be like, and I have some very religious clients, and I'm not religious at all. And that's not the point. The point is not about being, like, fuck religion and be all into hoodoo voodoo. It's like, it's even funny that you're like living on the fringe. in some circles, that's exactly what this is.
Hmm.
So recently someone said, oh, I dabble in tarot too, but I'm sure that's probably like stupid to you because you're so good. I'm like, no, it's fucking awesome.
Hmm.
Do it. Have all your friends do it. Literally everybody should do what they want to do, whatever interests them, and there's no stigma around it. And so when people are like, everyone's into astrology now, I'm like, awesome,
Good,
thank
right.
you.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
that is literally the point. We should all be kind of into all of it or open to it, open to these concepts. I
Right.
mean, it kind of makes me laugh when we think about what an organized religion is. It's like, or just what religion is, the concept of a God, this higher power, he created everything. How is that very much different from what I'm doing? It's just a different name. And I'm not,
Oh, I grew up Catholic, and I'm like, now that I think back on all the why I actually enjoyed it, I'm like, oh, it was so witchy. Like I can't
yes,
even. There's incense
the
flowing
incense
where he
and
was
the,
chanting and some Latin
yes,
words. It was like, and I get it. I get the power of the women's circles I get together with now, because it's like we're doing this in a space where there's nothing expected of me except to go deep and to connect with my own personal spirituality. um, and the reverence and the energy that happens in those churches, I feel like it just touches on what people are seeking, which is
absolutely.
that connection. And of course it can corrupt over time, and that's understood,
Right.
but like the openness you're speaking about, it's it's kind of like common, like it's not new and it's not a big deal. It's sort of just, and if, I know there's dark sides of all of this. I mean,
Yeah.
things can get dark, and but I think that we can be empowered by checking in with some of our deeper, like you say, shadows, spirituality. All of that is there to be explored in a way that we feel comfortable with. Like sometimes I find, like sometimes it's like tarot or Reiki. That's like the gateway drug to like, just okay, now I'm open. I'm in control of my life. This is Nothing's taking me over. I can see what is interesting out there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, well, I took your notes. I've been taking work notes from each person that comes on as a guest, because I love all of these traits and the things that you share. And this one I had not heard yet. Like people hadn't really pulled out that fire stuff, like that really, um, the high energy empowerment that's sometimes necessary. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to be Sinead O'Connor level of
Yeah.
energy, but we need Sinead O'Connors, because, like, I
Yeah.
mean, how else can we kind of find
Well,
freedom?
and then also if you think of it like, yeah, like you're like the level, I don't want to be the level, but what something that I have said since we met, actually, partially what originally made me want to go into this kind of line of
Mhm.
work is this idea. I'm such a humanitarian. I constantly am trying. Even since I was a child, I'm like, how can we better humanity? What can we do? And I think in another life, I would probably be some wild rebel or something. I think I've got it in me, but in this life, where I want to have a quote unquote normal life, like the house and the kids and the go to school and the whatever, I still want to liberate women. I still want to wake people up. I still care about the future of our population. And I can do that one at a time, me and you in
Mhm.
a session, connecting throughout, however long we are working together for.
Mhm.
And then you take that, you have transformed. So now we've alchemized your pain into power, and now you take your power and you teach your daughter or your sister or your bestie. And it ripples. It's literally a ripple effect. And because I believe in energy, we're energetically
Mhm.
connected. So when I'm doing my healing work, it is inherently helping you heal,
Mhm.
and vice versa. So you don't have to be Sinead O'Connor level, and neither do I. No one actually does if we were all just regular level,
Right.
right? But we need more people talking about anything. Just literally stop being afraid. I mean, freedom of speech is like part of this country is founded on.
Mhm.
It's like, say what you need to say who you are, say what resonates with you, empower yourself to use your voice, because it helps destigmatize and release judgment, conditioning, and fear. That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
We need to humanize. We need to humanize people. We look at people who are different than us and we don't see a human. We don't relate to them. So I need you to share your story with me so that I can find a common ground with you. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So even, and I might sound fiery and I'm fiery, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily that I'm like making my clients suddenly start going out and picketing and rioting or something. It's like more just using their voice with their partner, even like that doesn't make me feel
And
safe.
that's
I
radical for some people. Like that
exactly.
is huge. To just take ownership of their happiness
Yes.
in a lot of
Ownership.
ways.
Exactly. Sovereignty, agency, ownership, authenticity. You get to
Bingo.
do that for you.
Yeah.
And I think women have been socialized. Trust me, I'm very, very, I'm a feminist, which does not make me anti-man. I love men and supporting men's mental health. And that's another misconception about feminism. But because I'm speaking about women, women have been socialized to take care of everyone else and put their own needs last, to not have ownership of themselves, to
Mm,
follow the rules and obey. And yeah, I'm not about that life.
yeah. And I love that. And you know what? The free choice to say, I do this much. I do this much feminism. I do this much feminism.
Yes.
It's like, it's whatever range you are, what you say you are. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm going to pull us a card. I mean, there's
Cool.
some, I'm like, know, the past few guests, the cards get creepy. They've been like amazing what's been pulling out. So anyway, this is the John Holland deck. It's very, John Holland, like pretty basic, but I love this deck because it's so straightforward. There's no gray area. There's no interpretation. So we're going to
Perfect.
pull. What I'm going to do is, sorry, I keep dropping cards. I'm going to start shuffling.
Well, that means that's your secret message.
I know, but I want it to be your call, not
Okay, okay, okay.
my fumble. And I'm like sick, so I think I'm just like, so just I'm going to start shuffling. I would love for you to intuitively say when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Okay. Dang, girl. I think this is what fell out on the floor, too. Of course, it needed to come out. Intuition.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to read it. They're very quick, and I'll do this because I love to share. Let me get my glasses on. Okay. Intuition. That is the 2 card
Which is
of it's
what women were burned at the stake for having. Okay, cool. Love it.
right. Oh, here it is, 29. Okay.
29. Okay.
Page 29. Here we go. Okay. Intuition. See if this resonates for anyone watching this today as well. Really listen in. Your intuition is the language of the soul. When this card shows up in a reading, it's a clear message that it's time for you to use your intuition. Just give it a chance, and you'll quickly notice how it might be trying to get your attention. With so much information in this world vying for your every thought, it's easy to ignore, be distracted, and fail to acknowledge your insights. Synchronicities and so called coincidences are powerful signs that intuition is knocking on your door. Have you heard a phrase or saying repeated by more than one person today? Do the same numbers keep showing up in your life? Has someone mentioned the name of a specific individual whom you were just thinking of? These are all the signals for you to pause, be open, and pay attention. It's a perfect time to seek the answers from within, turn inward, where you'll find the solutions and valuable insights that are waiting to assist you. When you learn to use and trust your intuition, you'll begin to have a sense of not only the right timing, but you'll also begin to perceive people and situations with a deeper and more discerning eye. You'll not only observe beneath and beyond what's actually in front of you, you'll see the real deal. This card is also associated with the High Priestess, so
Ooh,
that's like
love.
you.
It is. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I love that card because that card is basically the really, I don't want to say dumbed down. It's not dumb at all. Uh,
Accessible, simple
yeah,
version.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Siphoned down, distilled way of describing what kind of work I'm doing with with women, which is trust what you feel, trust what you want. What people say, oh, I should be doing this, or someone should, or I should care more, or whatever. It's like that's an immediate sign that you are falling victim to your programming, to your conditioning. You don't should anything. What do you feel like you want to do?
Mhm.
And women have a hard time connecting to their inner voice, their inner intuition, so to speak,
Mhm.
because they've been giving their power away for so long. So I love the card for multiple reasons,
Well,
but
I'll
I
share
feel like,
it also on the video and like around there, but it's so true because I love somebody tells me all the time, stop shitting all over
yep,
yourself.
I hear that all the time too.
No, like okay.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta stop. I try not to keep that in my dialogue anymore. But well, Jackie, thank you so much. So much for coming today. I'm really glad that this timing worked out for our call. And I really appreciate you and being in touch with you over time and watching all this cool work that you're doing. Tell us like how people can reach out to you and connect with you.
I'm very active on my social media,
Yeah.
so anyone who sends me a DM, I'm always replying. If you haven't noticed, I love to talk. I love talking. So bring it to me. Let's communicate. Let's network. I love
Yeah.
it. Of course, I have a website. My website is just my business name, violetandvesta.com. That's also my Instagram handle and my TikTok handle.
Mhm.
And yeah, reach out
Awesome.
anyway. Find me.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you so
I
much.
hope you feel
And
better.
oh, thanks, you too, babe. And I'll save this that anybody can rewatch it. There's so much fire and like cool insights in this conversation. So I'm so glad we get to keep it
Yeah,
and
me
hold
too.
it forever. Yeah. All right, babe. I'll see you
All
next
right,
time.
bye bye.
Bye.